Well, hey guys, it's one of those rare February days. Well, I wouldn't say rare. It seems like every February we get a warm spell. It's in the 60s. It's nice outside. So get ready to put the Spyder into the garage for its winter maintenance cycle. So I thought I'd take a chance to get it out and get everything circulating and warmed up again, and also get my mind lubricated and come out here and ride, just enjoy the weather. It's just too nice of a day not to, because the Spyder's going to be down for the next week or so as I do a series of maintenance procedures. So I want to cover a couple of items about motorcycle maintenance and philosophy of life. Perhaps I'm trying to channel Robert Pirsig and his book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I don't know, but it sounds good. One of the ones I'm still up in the air on is the battery. I just took the battery off the tender since the weather was warm for about, I think it was 24 or 36 hours. And it's reading at the bottom of the operational range. It's holding the charge, but it's at the bottom of that acceptable range. And so it tells me before any big trips, I'm going to need to get a new battery. But, the battery is 6 years old, so it's probably time. So you're probably asking yourself, what does that phrase at the beginning of this week's video have to do with travel? Memento mori. Well, it's Latin. It's a reminder that we're mortal and we're not getting out of this world alive. It's one of the key phrases in a philosophy called Stoicism, which I am a student of. Stoicism is not a religion. It's just a philosophy, sort of an operating system for your life. There are many who believe that Jesus made the tenets of Stoicism. It goes back a couple of thousand years, and the basic tenet is in Stoicism, you spend time controlling the things that you have control over, such as your own self, your thoughts, and the way you conduct your life. So I just spend time trying to address things that I can control. So here I am, enjoying the Spyder on a nice day. And it also embraces two concepts, which are kind of an Eastern philosophy, along with that of Stoicism. Is although you should live in the moment, smell the flowers, don't forget there's also a tomorrow you should plan for, even though there's no guarantee for tomorrow. So, you have to sort of make plans. And we have also found that, human beings, strangely enough, are hardwired for setting goals and working towards goals. They have found that people who have goals and they work towards their goals are actually happier than those who have no goals or objectives. And so it could be why I'm tickled to death every time I get to plan something, and I'm always planning something. So anyway, and not too much time to the things that are outside your life and you don't have any control over them. And just look at the media and what's going on in the world today. It's just absolutely insane, and you would go crazy just trying to make sense of all that. So, and it's so easy in our life to get caught up with trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Always trying to have the best and the shiniest things, and you're probably saying to yourself, "Oh yeah, well, you have a Spyder. We don't have a Spyder." Yeah, I have a Spyder, but if you look at the rest of our life, you will find that we live very frugally. Miriam and I don't have car payments. Our cars are 10 years plus old. Mine's, a 2007. Miriam's is 2006. And there's something to be said about having the skill set to turn a wrench and maintain your own stuff, or just keep it running. A lot cheaper than a car payment. So we live frugally, and that gives us the opportunity to have the Spyder and to travel a lot more. And hopefully, and in the process, making financial plans for the future, so we can travel even more. So that's part of my core philosophy. But enough about that. I am very skeptical of the expert opinions of others. And let me tell you a story. I took my first airplane ride at age 2. I have really no memory of the trip, but my mother, till her dying day, used to tell the story about how I cried to get back on the airplane. We were off to visit my grandfather, who was not doing very well. It was probably my mother's first commercial airplane ride. to the western part of the state. And apparently the die was cast. From that point on, I was obsessed with flying. I would build models of airplanes. I'd draw pictures of airplanes. I'd pretend I was flying anything that moved. My bicycle was an airplane. Everything. And I knew that one day I'd become a pilot. So I enlisted in the Air Force because my undiagnosed dyslexia sort of limited my options. And the Air Force recruiter says, son, I can't get you in the cockpit, but I can get you really close to those airplanes. So I got to guard them. It was a pretty good job. And one year, when I was having my annual physical for the Air Force, that year the physical was given by a member of the flight surgeon team. Now, the flight surgeons are board-certified doctors who are basically experts in aerospace medicine, because their job is to make sure that the flight crews meet the minimum standards for the Air Force and can fly and operate the aircraft. And of course, the Air Force has a lot of those folks, so I just lucked out that this year I got one of those guys as my doctor. So not only is he a board-certified surgeon, he's also an Air Force captain, and I was a lowly E3 at the time. So we're sitting to get the results of the physical. He looked at my chart and looked at me and says, Airman, did you know you have absolutely no depth perception? None. And he was trying to add a little bit of levity to the conversation. Well, it's a good thing you weren't trying to become an Air Force pilot, because with no depth perception, you could never land an airplane. And that would have been crushing had I not known the fact was the exact opposite. You see, at that point, when the expert deemed it impossible for me to land an airplane, I was already a licensed pilot. I started flying at age 17, soloed maybe 6 months after I started flying. That's when the instructor gets out of the airplane. You're flying on your own. Earned my private license when I was 19 and was well into my commercial flight training at the Air Force Aero Club. And that training was progressing well. So to have an expert tell me I couldn't do something that I had been doing well. But then again, I had soloed for the first time, well below the average. I think my logbook shows about 12 hours of flying time when I flew the airplane by myself for the first time, with the instructor sitting on the ground with a pair of binoculars watching me. At least I hope he was watching me. And I went on to have a pretty successful aviation career. Never had any problem landing an aircraft. Quite the contrary. When I was an instructor, I was kind of the go-to guy for instructors who were having problems with their students, who were difficulty in learning how to land. They would send their folks to me, and I was able to break down the landings into different components and teach each component separately, then bring it all together, and was pretty good at it. One of the few things in life I say I would probably qualify as an expert. I believe the book definition, if you've done something 10,000 times, you are an expert, and I have logged well over 10,000 landings. And my takeoffs and landings have all been the same. That's kind of important. So the point there is, be very careful when listening to others render their expert opinions on what you can and cannot do. All right, a little bit about our plans for this year. We know that July 4th weekend, we want to go up to the Shenandoah National Park. We're either going to stay at the Big Meadows Lodge or the Skyland Resort. We haven't decided which one yet, and so we haven't made any reservations. But July 4th is on a Saturday this year, so we're gonna try to do a meetup. If anybody wants to come up and play, you're welcome to. Even if you don't have a Spyder or don't even have a motorcycle, we just like to meet you guys. Perhaps have a meal together or a cold drink, and then maybe even structure a ride along the Skyline Drive. We haven't actually set it all up yet. We just want to give you advance warning that that's what we're going to try to do. So looking forward to it. And even if nobody shows up, we're still going to have a good time, because we go up there. It seems like this has now become a thing for us for July 4th. So here we go again. So maybe we'll see you guys up there. We'll have more details on this trip as we get the planning a little bit more organized. But I want to give you all a heads up. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and wind up this video and get the Spyder back into the garage and start taking it apart. And if you haven't ever read the book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert Piercy, you might want to pick it up. It's a pretty good book. I have an old dog-eared copy I've had for years. I even have the audio book. It's some interesting reading. He phrases things much better than I can. So until next time, we'll catch you guys later.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Feel free to leave a comment below.